Can't fathom the numbers. I can't freaking fathom the sun's size, let alone the size of some massive star miles away. It's Naeem. Now today I'm going to be reacting to how the universe is way bigger than you think. Now that seems interesting already. Apparently the universe is a finite size and it grew from a finite piece of time. Alright, I'm already showing you how little I know. Right, let's get into it, and if you want more reactions, please subscribe, like, and engage with me. I want to make new friends because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and not for any self-interested reason, clearly. Right, 3, 2, 1.
This is a real-life lore video made possible by Squarespace.
Oh,
Make your
sorry.
next move with a beautiful website from Squarespace. This is Earth. You live here on this planet somewhere, and
Indeed.
everything that you've ever known is located right here. But just how small exactly is Earth when compared to the scale of the entire universe? Let's start by zooming out to where we can see our nearest cosmic neighbor, the Moon. You may think that the Moon is very close to Earth since it dominates our night sky.
Nah, it's
But in
much further
reality,
than we
the Moon
think.
isn't this close to our planet. It's actually about this far away. 384,000.
But it's crazy how on some days it does look
right now,
massive,
on
and on other
average,
days
you could
it
fit
looks...
30 entire Earths in between this distance, and if you somehow were able to drive a car at a constant 100 kilometers per hour speed, it would take you about 160 days to drive the entire distance. Despite this
I don't
incredible
drive, so...
distance, however, 12 humans have actually set foot here, representing
And some
the furthest
people
away
doubt
that
that,
any
some people
individual
doubt
human
that.
has ever been away from the Earth, and one of humanity's greatest achievements.
By some people I don't
This
mean
is
me.
what the Earth would look like from there if you were standing there
But
with
some
them.
people do.
And if you wanted to communicate with somebody back at home, it would take a message about 2.5 seconds to travel between you and them, since that's how fast the speed of light can travel at. This is a photo that was taken on Mars, and that tiny dot that you see there is
Damn.
Earth as seen from the Martian surface. On average, Mars is an incredible 225 million kilometers away from Earth, but that distance can be as high as 401 million kilometers.
How?
That means that whenever humanity finally gets around to landing a human on the planet, that person will be 986 times further away from Earth than
The
the astronauts
furthest
who
man
landed
has
on
ever
the moon
been.
were. In addition, the time delay for sending a message from Mars back to Earth isn't just 2.5 seconds, it's actually more like 20 minutes each direction, which would render instant communication in the event of an emergency impossible. When
Yeah,
we zoom
basically.
out even further away, we can find the Voyager 1
Because it'll take
space probe,
40
which is
minutes
the furthest away man-made object
for a
from
message.
Earth. It is currently located 138 AUs from the Earth. AU meaning astronomical unit, which is the distance between the
They have
Earth
their own
and the
unit.
Sun, which means that Voyager 1 is 138 times further away from us than the Sun is. At some point on its long voyage, Voyager 1 turned its camera around and took this photograph. It may not
Hey, that looks mad. I'm gonna guess that's the Earth, but that actually looks beautiful. That looks really beautiful.
look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history. This tiny, pale blue dot is Earth, and I don't think that anybody has ever said something as amazing about this as Carl Sagan when he said, "If you look at it, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone
I
you've
got
ever heard
goosebumps.
of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings. Thousands of confident
Yeah,
religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and every forager, every hero
On that
and
little
coward,
dot.
every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, every mother and every
Yes.
father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader,
Damn.
every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there,
Carl
on a
Sagan
mote
wrote
of
that?
dust suspended in a sunbeam. Voyager 1 is currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another
Not to scale.
30,000 years. Once we go beyond the solar system, we arrive in our interstellar neighborhood. Here we shift to the light year unit of measurement, which is the distance that light travels in a full Earth year, or about 9.461 trillion kilometers.
Serious?
The star Proxima Centauri here is the closest other star to us other than our sun, but it's still 4.24 light years.
So it's not as
away
big
from
as the
us.
sun then.
To put that into perspective, if it was heading in the right direction, it would still take Voyager 1 over 70,000 years to reach it. In other words, if you drove your car at 100 kilometers an hour, like in our previous example,
Wildly not
it would
to scale.
take over 6 times longer than the entire.
Yeah, it has to be not to scale because it's for representational and educational purposes only. And we cannot possibly fathom the size, the gargantuan size of these giants. I mean, the sun alone we can't fathom, and there are giants beyond the sun. Allegedly.
Age of the universe is just to finally get there, and it wouldn't even exist still when you arrived. When we zoom out even further, we can see the entire Milky Way galaxy, inside of which Earth is located right here. This yellow dot is the furthest extent of humanity's radio broadcasts throughout history, which means that any
we can't really
possible
contact
aliens
them.
who live outside of this range are totally unaware of humanity's presence. It's complete silence outside of this yellow dot as far as we are currently aware, but the entire galaxy spans over 100,000 light years from end to
whether there's life, and by life, you know, we mean intelligent life. We don't just mean like some little bacteria or something. Although I don't know if that's considered intelligent, but you know what I mean by life. Is there life on elsewhere in the universe? I mean, just from a probabilistic framework, probably not. I mean, think about it. If our signals can't reach other places, and presumably if they exist, theirs don't reach ours, and there's universes upon universes, galaxies upon galaxies, what is the likelihood that we are purely the only intelligent form? Now, you might believe in God and give you a reason to say, you know, we're special in that way, and that's an argument I can't really argue with. I guess that's a possible view. So it's for me, I'm just like, I would like there to be, but I'm also thinking probabilistically there has to be something. It just seems wild to think we're the only special creature or creatures on this universe. But yeah.
to end. There are over 100 billion stars and over 100 billion
Exactly.
planets inside of our galaxy. But you have never seen the full glory of the galaxy at night, because 99% of the stars that you can see with the naked eye are limited to this small, tiny region right here. But even this massive galaxy is
every time we look up the
rest
stars,
of what's out there.
that's what we're
Zooming out
seeing.
even further, and we arrive at the local group of galaxies, a collection of 50
I'm in London,
different
so you can't
galaxies that
bloody
is
see
about
any.
10 million light years across. But zooming out even further, and we can see the Virgo supercluster, of which the local group
how
here
do
is
you
just
know?
a tiny segment of. There are at least
How do you know?
100 other groups of galaxies.
If there's limitations, if there's like, I know they have insanely powerful telescopes, but still it baffles the mind how they mapped it out. How do they map it out like this?
like our own local group inside of here, and the distance from one side to the other is a mind-numbing 110 million light years.
I can't fathom that. I don't even know how to be amazed at that number.
A quiet and tiny lobe of the Great Laniakea supercluster, an enormous structure that is home to our galaxy as well as 100,000 other galaxies. The distance from one side to the other is 520
Again, I
million
can't
light
fathom
years,
that number.
But from even there, we can zoom out all the way to
Okay,
the
now
entire
that I can
observable
fathom.
universe
Bloody
and
hell.
see that even the Titanic Laniakea supercluster
But again, how can
is
you
just
map
a
that out
tiny
with
and
such precision?
insignificant part of everything. This is the observable universe, and it contains everything that we know of. It is home to at least two...
Surely that raises a paradox, because if everything is if that is what's observable, yeah, do you know the things that you are not like? Are there a thing? I'm tongue tied. Are there things that are unobservable that you know are unobservable, or are they the known observable? Because there's a difference. There's a difference between the known observable, the unknown observable. Actually, does that even make sense? The unknown observable. Okay, I'll shut up for a minute.
Trillion different and individual galaxies, which together contain more stars than there are grains of sand on the entire Earth.
Like,
distance
again,
from
the
Earth to
probability-
any side of the observable universe is 46.5 billion light years, which
And by the
means
way-
that the entire
Sorry if I yawn, yeah. Firstly, I get it from my dad. I just yawn every time, no matter what. And second, I record all this in the morning because that's when everyone's asleep, and I get the most quiet. I can't ever really record in the afternoon or evening, so I get up and I basically record. I haven't even had my breakfast yet.
width is 93 billion light years across. What's perhaps even more interesting, however, is what actually lies beyond the observable universe. Keep in mind that the observable universe is all that we can currently see, and it's entirely possible that the rest of the universe outside of it is vastly larger and more fantastic than we can possibly ever imagine. We simply don't know what else is out there because the light from these incredibly distant places has not yet had enough time in the universe's history.
And that's interesting he says that, because I also know that things, my rudimentary understanding is, yeah, light takes time to travel, but also things expand the way the universe expands. So there might be a point where the universe expands and the light hasn't reached us, but the problem is the light will never reach us because the universe is expanding and the distance is growing. So the pace at which the universe is expanding is much. No, there's nothing that's faster than light. I'm sure I'm getting the right idea, I'm just not phrasing it properly.
To reach us yet back on Earth, and the light from some places may never reach us at all. Because some parts of space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the
Hey,
speed
that's
of
what-
light, that means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Meaning that even if humanity is eternal and exists forever, there will still be an unknown number of places in the
Yeah.
universe that we will never know about or ever see. So, it is
It's
very
insane.
likely that as unbelievably enormous as it seems, the observable universe is just a tiny slice of what we can currently see of the entire universe. According to the theory of cosmic inflation that was proposed by Dr. Alan Guth, if it is assumed that cosmic inflation began at 10 to the negative 37th of a
That's
second
way
after
too
the
many
Big
zeros,
Bang,
man.
and with the assumption that the size of the universe before inflation began was equal to its age times the speed of light, then this would seem to suggest that at the present day, the entire universe is 150 sextillion times larger than the observable universe. That number for reference looks like this, with this many zeros. Let this number sink in.
I
for
can't
just a
sink it
moment.
in, though.
This would be similar to you thinking that the entire observable universe, everything that you could see, was the size of a light bulb, but then realizing that in reality the entire universe is larger than the former planet of Pluto. Imagine a light bulb in the center of Pluto.
But if you can't discern the freaking planet, how can you discern the light bulb? I think that's what I was trying to get at earlier. If you don't necessarily know how big the universe is, how can you bloody know what your local group is? Like, maybe I'm using the word know in a very anal strict sense. Like, epistemological sense. I said, perhaps colloquially, yeah, we know. In the same way, I know you're watching this. But, do I know?
Inside the light bulb were totally
Like a
unaware
god?
that Pluto existed outside of it, and that's a similar situation to this. We are all so unbelievably small, but you shouldn't worry, because all that means is that there is so much left out there for us to discover together. This video was made possible by Squarespace.
Presumably
if you are
it's
wanting to create a
finished,
new
yeah. That was how the universe is way bigger than you think. And yeah, he smashed it. I can't fathom the numbers. I can't freaking fathom the sun's size, let alone the size of some massive star miles away. I can't fathom. This is why, yeah, there are people who do wake up and get giddy and mad about maths and science. And this is the reason why I can understand why they're into it, because you just want to unlock those mysteries of the universe, those mysteries of life, and that I can understand. You know, like if they marketed science and maths like that when you're in school, when you're at uni, when you're at college, I swear you would have more people enthusiastic about the subjects. Unfortunately, when you're at school, they just drill down those formulas upon you, and you have to memorize it. Problem is, you don't actually like understand the reasons for memorizing them. Like I remember watching, it was QI, I don't know if it was that, where Stephen Fry was hosting, and he was going through why the Pythagoras theorem, a squared b squared equals c squared, and he gave a physical representation of as how it's still on YouTube. I think I might even react to that, and he gave a physical representation as to why the formula is the way it is. And it just made me think of it in a different way. Now it makes complete sense. So if you give like a visual slash motivational reason as to why you have to learn these equations, learn these formulas, learn these symbols, then you'd have so many more people, because it's made me interested into it. Except the numbers, I think a lot of people just get turned off by the numbers. But then again, you might say that's because of the way it's taught in school. Numbers themselves, we use it every day, we use them, it helps us, it's a tool, and we take it for granted. But yeah, I'm getting lost in the weeds here. If you like this reaction, please like, subscribe and comment, because it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And plus I want to build a bridge. I want to build a bridge, engage more viewers, get more people who can suggest what I should react to. And I want to actually just enjoy myself, because this is enjoyable. Besides, I got a copyright claim on the Bill Burr one. I disputed that. I don't necessarily know if that's gonna go through. So if in future, if I get big enough, I might set up a Patreon thing and publish only blocked content there. So I might do like music reactions and stuff like that. But that's if you guys subscribe, and that's if you guys engage and share the word that this sex symbol is doing reactions. Alright, bless you, much love, peace.